Hi guys, welcome. Dana here from the Magic Junk Drawer, and I don't know why the camera's going this way this time, but it is. So we're just going to leave it like this because that's just how it is. All right. So I wanted to talk today a little bit about my struggle with anxiety. And, you know, a lot of times when I teach, I talk, like I'll say, oh, inversions are good for anxiety and depression, and then I'll mention how I've struggled with anxiety my entire life. So I wanted to go live because I know I'm not the only person that suffers from this, but I wanted to also go a little bit deeper into some of the things that may have caused it for me, because maybe somebody else will be able to sympathize, or not even sympathize, but like somebody else will hear me say it and realize that that's what's causing theirs. So my first memory of anxiety, all right? Now, you know what? I can't even be 100% sure as to whether or not I remember this, or if it's that I remember being told the story. I think I remember it because my grandmother was wearing a necklace that, I mean, I can see it in my mind's eye today. I know exactly what it looks like. It was a costume jewelry thing, and it was like a big necklace, and I wanted to wear it, and she let me wear it. And I was wearing it when this happened. So I was really young. I was still living in the first house that we lived in, and I was 5 when I moved out of there. Now, I was 3 when my brother was born, and I don't remember him being there, and my grandparents were babysitting me. And my mother had just gotten a new blue carpeting in the living room, and up until the time my grandparents died, they always told the story. They thought it was really funny. I don't think that anybody realized how traumatic it was for me, but I was like 2. My mother potty trained me very young. And I think it was whatever happened, and I was sick or I had diarrhea or something, and anyway, it happened on the blue rug. And I was so upset, yelling at my grandparents, no, this can't happen on the blue rug, no, not on the blue rug. I was very upset about that. And my grandparents were like, it's okay, it's an accident, we'll clean it up, it's no big deal, whatever. But I was very upset by it. So I think that, like, that's the first time I remember, like, being anxious about something, and being scared. I don't know if that's the exact right term, but that's how I felt. So anyhow, that's the first time I remember it. What I remember in elementary school is my parents used to argue a lot, and a lot of times the arguments would happen on the weekend. So it would be very common for me to have a lot of anxiety on Monday coming home from school. Like, I wanted to stay in school because I was afraid that when I got home there would be more fighting, and that scared me. And for some reason, I can't speak for my brother. I don't know that he went through this, but I know that it didn't seem like he was anxious or upset the way I was. I also was the oldest child. I kind of took on that role of being more responsible and being responsible for everyone. So I felt like if he did something wrong, it was my fault. I was responsible for that too. And I remember being over at the neighbor's house. I was 5, he was 2. He was with me, and the neighbor mentioned to my mother that I was like a little mother, because I always told John what he could and couldn't do. So at a very young age, I was responsible for myself, and I felt very responsible for what other people did. It wasn't until I was well grown into my adult years that somebody had to point out that I could only be responsible for my own actions and not everybody else's. And it took a really long time for me to even accept that, because I felt like everything was always my fault. So the fighting, and this was like the elementary school years. I didn't want to go home after school. I remember being afraid, wanting to stay in school where I knew there was no arguing, just feeling very anxious. So this is something that started for me in childhood. So it's not surprising that it continues to this day, because this is the way that I dealt with stress. I don't know. It made me nervous. I mean, there would be moments in my life and times in my life where I couldn't eat. That's just the way that I dealt with it. I can't eat. Like, I feel like my throat is closing. I don't want to eat. I want nothing to do with food. All I want to do is drink water. I don't know. It's strange, but that's how I react to this kind of stress. So the last couple of weeks, or maybe the last couple of months, the anxiety has been really crazy, and I can't really pinpoint exactly what it is. Like, there are things in my life that are stressing me out, like taxes. I'm going to have my taxes done next Tuesday. But what is going to happen? Even if I owe the government a ton of money, I will be able to get a payment plan. I will be able to pay it off eventually. So I'm not really sure why I'm so anxious. The deal with the car. Now, I'm going to do a whole segment on Volkswagen because I am so aggravated with Volkswagen, and for a couple of reasons. Number one, I don't want anyone else to get stuck in this situation. And number two, like, people should know when you buy a car that costs $27,000, like, you should know what you're getting and whether or not it's going to last. Because I just watched a video, okay? Patrick Glenn Nichols, I follow him on YouTube, and maybe I'll put the video in the description box. Just did a video today on a 1970 Chevelle that has had one owner. It has 140,000 miles, and even in the video, he turned the car on. The car runs. So my Beetle with 80,000 miles that's burning oil is a complete disgrace. That the car is 4 years old, and Volkswagen basically told me to go fly a kite. But I'm going to do a whole other segment on that. But even with the car, what is going to happen? If my car stops running, so I will get something else. I mean, I don't know where the anxiety, like, logically speaking, in my brain, I know, okay, I don't have a ton of money, but I could probably scrape together enough to buy, you know, a little ship box for a while just to get me to and from work. But it's like this anxiety, and what happens is the mind starts to spiral out of control. Well, then the car's not going to work, and then what if I owe the IRS, and then how am I going to pay my mortgage if I can't get to work? And I mean, it goes on and on and on. And all of this, first of all, none of it is true. None of it has happened yet, and it's worse in my mind. But in studying the law of attraction, these are not thoughts that you want to have, okay? What I keep saying to myself is the best case scenario with Volkswagen will happen, whatever the best case scenario will be. Either I will finance this car and my payments will drop half price. Maybe that'll happen, right? Or I will turn this car in and I'll get another one, which is I'm kind of reluctant to, because why would I want to get another one when look at what's going on with this one? This car had an oil change on January 29th. It took 2 quarts of oil on Friday morning. I mean, that's a lot of oil, okay, in a car that's 4 years old. Like I said, I mean, I drove around in a 1995 Probe, and I never had to put oil in it ever. The oil light never came on as long as I owned it. So this is, like, ludicrous to me. And then Volkswagen is basically like, you're stuck. Too bad. We don't give a shit. So I'm going to do a segment on that, because either Volkswagen is going to do something for me, or I'm going to let everybody know exactly what's gone on and show you all my receipts for my oil changes and the oil that I bought and everything else, because people should know before you buy a Volkswagen that this is what you could be dealing with. So there's that. Then there's, you know, the struggle to make ends meet, and I do everything on my own and paying this and that. Okay, but even still, like, what happens? Nothing. So what happens if you pay your phone bill late? You make an arrangement, you pay the phone bill late. Nothing. So why the source of anxiety is so strong, and only some people get it. Some people, they could care less. I have friends that have declared bankruptcy. I've had friends that have, I mean, walked out of jobs, left their spouse, never returned. I mean, I've had people do some crazy things, and they don't bat an eyelash, and they don't care. They leave the state. They're, living somewhere else, and it does not faze them a bit. So I don't know why some people suffer from it and some people don't, but when you suffer from it, it is very real. A lot of times they say that depression and anxiety go hand in hand. I don't feel like I've suffered from the depression part of it as much as the anxiety. I mean, there have been times in my life where I've been depressed or I feel hopeless, yeah, but not like with this anxiety. And the crazy thing is that people always say to me, your voice is so calm. And especially when I'm teaching, people will be like, you have such a calm voice and you have such a calm energy. I don't know how I put that out there, because inside me, especially like today, like there is like a 3-ring circus going on inside there. I mean, with like symbols and everything. Monkeys and all kinds of stuff going on in there. So it's very funny. And sometimes I would even say, like, when I look this calm, it's when I'm spinning out of control the most. And there's not always a reason why. I mean, I know that as of right now, my car is in functioning condition. I know as of right now that even if I owe the government money for my taxes, I will be able to pay it even if I need to get a payment plan. I know that I know how to work hard and I know how to work a lot. So I am not really sure where I'm getting such anxiety. Then I was thinking too, and I always heard this, like over the years, like people that have had mothers that died young. Like I know that Rosie O'Donnell and Madonna both had mothers that died very young. I don't know about Rosie, but I've heard Madonna say it before, how she always thought that she wasn't going to live as long as her mother did. So I'm thinking that maybe that has something to do with it. Like maybe I'm starting to get up there in age and I'm starting to get close to the age that my mom died. So maybe that's what's eating at me a little bit, because I can't really pinpoint exactly what it is. Like if I died right now, will I have fulfilled all of my wishes and desires? Like would I be in the place that I want to be, or would I have lived the life that I wanted to live? No, probably not, but I would be dead and I wouldn't know any better. So, and what I'm thinking is that it's got to be better somewhere else than it is here on earth. I mean, here we have to work, we have to struggle, we're in material world, right? There's a lot going on here. If we were to go into the spirit world, it's probably different. I mean, somebody once said to me, no one's ever come back. So I don't know. It's very interesting. And like I said, that some people really do pick up anxiety and they just don't always know where it's from, what's causing it, or how to get rid of it. I have not gone out for my run yet today because it's abnormally cold. And I will go, but probably closer to when I have to go back to work when it's a little bit warmer out. And if I do a couple of miles, maybe I'll feel a little bit better. But it's so strange to me that some people really, and then I've had several friends try different medications. I am not a big medication person, and it's only my opinion, doesn't make it right. I know medication helps a lot of people, but I feel like it's masking the problem and not really getting to the bottom of it. And one of the women that I used to work with, my day job, she used to be like, and what's wrong with that? And I would be like, yeah, but it's kind of like going out and getting drunk. You're appeasing the moment, but in the long run, the anxiety is going to come back because it's, something that you keep, like it keeps coming back. Like I could go out and get drunk and be happier than a pig in shit for 5 minutes, but then tomorrow I'm going to feel the same way. So like the same thing, like I feel like taking pills would do the same thing. And I'm just not, I'm not a medication person. I would rather do something natural and go that route before I started with pills. And I've made it this long without pills. And this is something that I've had my whole life. So I'm not about to start that now. But anyhow, or I would rather not start that ever. But I know that it does help some people. I mean, I've had friends that have taken things and they think that it helps. I also have a very addictive personality, so I do not want to start with anything that I could become addicted to, because I could become addicted to anything. I mean, last week I couldn't stop eating those damn candy eggs. So I'm just not going to go there right now. Anyhow, so what can you do for anxiety? Running, exercise, breathing, yoga, all those things are helpful. But what about when you just can't seem to alleviate it and you just don't know what it is? Like your rational mind is saying one thing. My mind definitely feels like nothing is going to happen that, can't be taken care of. It's not like I have to pay like a mortgage on a mansion and I don't have any money. Like it's not like that. But for some reason, I don't know why, I get this anxiety. Anyhow, I feel like I've rambled on and on about that. And I am going to continue to look for another Volkswagen dealer relatively close to my area to take a look at my car and see if they can, see if they're willing to make a deal of some type. maybe I can unload it, or maybe they can see. That's the thing. Like, I feel like something should be done. Like, even if you don't want to take it back, or like, there should be some kind of compromise, not like it's this or that's it, it's too bad, like that. I think that's what bothers me about Volkswagen, especially since this is the second car I bought from that dealership, and my mother also bought a car from that dealership. So we've been with that place for like a very long time, and let me tell you something. I have red hair, I'm part Sicilian, and I'm a witch, so you have a number of options that you can choose from. I can break your knees, or I could place a hex on you. No, I'm only kidding. But I really don't feel that it's fair the way that I've been treated, especially because this isn't the first time I complained about the problem. I've been complaining about it, and they've been telling me that it's fine, and it's not fine. It's not fine. It's not fine. I mean, the guy at AutoZone, when I went to pick up oil the other day, he was like, what are you doing with this oil? And I was like, going to put it in the car. And he was like, why? He's like, you don't want to overfill it. And I'm like, it's low. And the guy was like, there's no way that it can be low. And I'm like, I'm telling you, the light is on, it's low. And for some reason, like, when that oil light comes on and I tell people, like people that know about cars, they always think that I'm telling them that the oil change light is on. The oil change light is not on. The oil light is on. It looks like a little measuring cup with a little drop of oil coming out of it. I know what it is. I mean, I can't rebuild the carburetor, but I could, there's no carburetors anymore, but I can't rebuild an engine, but I know what the oil light is. I mean, anyway, yeah, so it's the oil light, and the oil was low because it took 2 quarts. So that's low. That's like Volkswagen. Anyway, so I guess that's about it. Anxiety, the depression that goes along with it. They say that people that suffer from depression are living in the past, and people that deal with anxiety are living more in the future. And it's very interesting because you really want to stay in the present, and you only really have now, right? Because yesterday is gone and tomorrow is not promised to anyone. So there really isn't any reason to be anxious or depressed, because you just have right now, what we're doing right now, which is me talking to you guys. And we don't know what tomorrow holds. I mean, what if I went out tonight and bought a lotto ticket and I hit the lotto? See, I know myself, and I know that even if I hit the lotto, the anxiety wouldn't go away. So it's very interesting to me that, and some people have this, and I don't know if it's something that was programmed in me as a child, as being the oldest, being more responsible, or having to take care of things, or feeling like I was always responsible for everything. And that's just what's brought down like this anxiety inside me. It's crazy, but people that suffer from it really suffer from it. And I've had a lot of friends in this same situation. So I know that. And if you're suffering from it, you're not alone. We're all there. And I guess that's about it for today. I am going to try to get the tarot reads up today for the month of April. I also have a couple of A&P stories about Western Union that I did as a video for a viewer who also works in a grocery store, which is really cool because he watches my videos, and I think that's really awesome. And I think that there were a couple of other things that I wanted to talk about. Oh, I have a law of attraction one. I have a lot. I got some other good things coming up, so stay tuned. All right, if you like what we're doing here at the Magic Junk Drawer, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, share us with your friends, and we will see you soon. Thanks for watching, and stay relaxed, not anxious. Bye.